Hi there guys, Sam here. Welcome to the new 2024 Audi S3. Now I kind of want to go through this car, just tell you all the details about it, tell you my kind of thoughts on it, check out the configurator as well. The absolute latest model isn't showing on the configurator at the moment, but I can tell you everything that we know just from a lot of these shots. One thing I really want to discuss is about the Akrapovic exhaust, the increase in power, and how this kind of relates a little bit to the Golf R, and yeah, go through that as well. And also check on the used site for sort of the pre-facelift Audi S3 and the kind of prices you can kind of get that for. But yeah, let's start from the top. So yeah, this came as a bit of a surprise recently in the last couple of weeks. I'm filming this on the 5th of March 2024, and yeah, we saw some of these spy shots without too much detail really from Audi. And to be fair, I mean, it's a bit of a weird camouflage, but I managed to kind of get a bit of the gist of it. You know, looks wise, it's going to be quite hard to tell all of the like finite details. The big option is the Akrapovic exhaust. Now, this is something that has always been available on sort of Golf Rs from about 2018. And I've kind of always been surprised it hasn't been put on the Audi. Bear in mind that the Audi is obviously the more premium car. That's the idea. So they finally in 2024 introduced the Akrapovic, which is just a no-brainer to go for, particularly with, well, the issues with sort of like gas particulate filters and just the noise just getting ruined. This is literally the last chance, and I'd probably say option it. I'm going to say it's probably about a £3,500 option to your Audi, which is going to add the price up. And on price, the current Audi S3, well, yeah, it's pretty expensive, a lot more than I actually thought. Starts from £42,220 in the UK and goes up to £48,220 for the Vorsprung. And once you spec a few things on it, you can well be heading into the £50,000 mark, just with like a decent paint or, you know, a change in wheels, etc., etc. So that's quite high. Thankfully, you can kind of get on my channel, a bit of a community channel, so please do get involved in the comments. If you've got one, if you're thinking of getting one, certainly get involved. I check on the used car configurator as well. Now, the Audi S3, this newer generation, has been out since 2021, and I saw one actually not too far away from me, at a main Audi dealership. Okay, this one's done 73,000 miles, so perhaps let's not necessarily consider this, but it's up for £26,000. But then as you go down, you can get some of the, well, not the Sportback version, the saloon version, you know, an absolutely okay 26,000 miles, £28,500, and there's quite a few under the £30,000 mark, all from main Audi dealerships, all with reasonable miles. They look pretty base spec though, in the grey and those wheels. The first one without like some sort of new sort of fancy paint is about nearly coming up to 30 grand. Yeah, 30 grand will get you sort of like a nice looking one, although this is not from a main dealer. But just to give you an idea of, yeah, well, the type of money you're potentially going to lose if you buy one from new. But yeah, on the new car, which is a prototype, and I am just a bit slightly confused about it. A few of the tweaks are obviously changed, and you know, a little bit of the design has changed, similar to the the Mark 8 Golf R, the Mark 8.5 facelift Golf R. The exhaust, yeah, I think that's quite a cool little touch. But there's more to it than just the exhaust. They've actually increased the engine to 333 brake horsepower, very similar to the Golf R 20 years. Of course, it's the same engine. And they've also played around with, well, from the Audi RS3 and the Golf R, they had slightly different four-wheel drive systems, which basically allowed more sort of adjustability at the rear, potentially for things like drift mode, and just makes the car a little bit more agile. They've now put that on to the new Audi S3, whereas the old one actually ran sort of the same Haldex system you'd got from a Mark 7 Golf R. So yeah, more latest, more up to date, and probably a well worth going for. A few, like, you know, they obviously shrink things, they make the lights thinner, they'll probably change the wheels. I don't imagine you're going to get it in this colour spec, but it just gives you an idea. What else do they kind of say about the car? Yeah, they're kind of talking about it just in terms of like how it's a little bit of a baby RS3 with so much sound now getting pumped inside the cabin. I kind of get that, and the Akrapovic exhaust is obviously going to improve things now. The fact that you now get an increase in power from 330 brake horsepower, 328 brake horsepower, 310 pound-foot of torque, that's pretty good. And yeah, you know, ultimately, it says 0 to 60 is 4.7. I reckon that's really conservative. I'd imagine there'd be some sort of like maybe pack to go above 155, maybe something to add on there. Yeah, and it seems like, and again, talking about the changes that you don't really see, is, well, yeah, 100% of the torque can go to the rear axle. Effects just, it makes it more adjustable and less potentially what it was in sort of like the previous generation Audi S3. So this is certainly a facelift which is really going to bring it up, more on par with like a Golf R, and again very similar to an Audi RS3 minus the 2.5 litre 5-cylinder. So I'm interested to know what you think in the comments when you sort of heard this being announced. I saw a few videos of it driving around and I was like, well, I wonder what they've changed. And actually they've changed a lot. They've changed a lot to bring it up. So, you know, if you've got this version essentially of the Audi S3, I think you're missing out quite a bit actually. Certainly if you're a bit of a driver, you like the exhaust, maybe want a slightly different design look, it's something to worth thinking of. If you're not too bothered about that and you like your S3, you know, perfectly good car, you know, expect these to come down in price as well. You know, you look at the price change over recent months just from like my little tracking tool just to tell you how far it's gone down. I mean, you probably get quite a good deal. And yeah, it's a good car. I personally quite like the black edition Audi S3s that they've got. Let's load one up here, just because it just adds a little bit more styling. Yeah, so the cheapest black edition one is £38,000. That is a 73 plate with 11,000 miles. I mean, that sounds a much better price than, say, yeah, what you can get them for brand spanking new. Yeah, I'd certainly be thinking about that from a main Audi dealership. What else do they kind of say about this car? Obviously, it's a prototype. They're not really giving everything away. And I did try to look up to see if they'd released anything more, because it was very sort of like thin on the ground in terms of getting all the information. Obviously, saloon and sportback versions. Yeah, for me, it seems like they've just put on what you get in an Audi RS3 or a Golf R. They've upped the power as well, which kind of says to me it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Mark 8 Golf R. If they put that up to the same sort of power, if they're going to make the Audi S3 sort of like this new sort of like, well, yeah, just kind of give it everything. Maybe the last kind of hurrah before they move to some sort of hybrid powertrain, or potentially even, well, you could go to a fully electric, which, you know, you can forget about things like a Krapovich exhausts then. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do. Is it Akrapovich, a Krapovich? It's up to you. Either way, they're very expensive. They're very well sought after, and they sound really good, particularly on pre-OPF cars, so 2018 on before. But they certainly make a difference on like newer generation cars. I've driven a Golf R with one and without the Mark 8, and yeah, it does add that little bit of an extra spice. And you know, if you're going to go full send, particularly in this day and age, you know, time is running out to enjoy a lot of cars. This kind of does it, and it makes what is a very premium car, very good looking car, very stylish. Obviously that kind of level just adds a little bit of flair if that's what you're looking for, but without necessarily the Golf R look. I'm slightly confused about what they're kind of bringing here, because it's not going to drive any differently to a Golf R now, whereas before it did. Maybe we'll see the Golf R going up to even more power, who knows. But yeah, that's what you get out of the EA AAA engine now. And who knows what else they're going to change. I did try to have a little dig around further in these images to see if I could, yeah, see anything further, but there's very limited amounts. I wasn't sort of blown away. The lights look slightly thinner, and that's pretty much it. Maybe some slight design cues. Maybe you'll see slightly more than me. And yeah, expect, by the way, that to be an option, the exhaust. So yeah, options. Starting price, who knows from where. They've also covered up the dash, which does suggest they're going to do big changes, like we've seen in the facelift Golf R, Volkswagen Golf. Expect potentially an even easier to use touchscreen or something to go about there. And yeah, we'll be interested to see what it's like. But I thought I'd share this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the new Audi S3 and whether or not you think it's worth it, whether or not you think it's worth it over a Golf R, whether you think it's worth it over a pre-facelift model. You could potentially save yourself a fair amount of money. Forget maybe the black edition, just go for a base standard one. You're not too fussed and you can get one sub 30 grand. Yeah, it's interesting. And if you are looking to order one, I wouldn't be looking at ordering this version unless you can be sure that you're going to get this version, which is going to have the extra power and, well, yeah, that torque at the back for the rear axle, which does improve the dynamics of the car. Yeah, interested to know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, plenty more content to come, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I'll be happy to help you out and share more information as I hear more.